Hi, I'm Tim and thanks for watching this video. In 2025, this year, Grandstream are quickly releasing Wi-Fi 7 access points. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at this, which is the Grandstream GWN7670WM Wireless 7 access point. And it's their on-wall or in-wall wireless access point. Now this was sent to me free of charge by Grandstream, so thanks to Grandstream for sending that. And what we'll do is get this unboxed, take a look inside, go through the specs, and we'll get it set up and we'll do some speed testing as well. So keep watching this video and we'll get right to it now. And here we are with the Grandstream GWN7670WM on-wall or in-wall wireless access point. Now it comes in this compact box here, so there's an insert into the box, and underneath the insert there are some parts as well, and on top, and these all are supplied in plastic bags, so it's fairly plain recyclable packaging as Grandstream do nowadays. So in the box we get the quick installation guide, which Grandstream always provide with their products. We also get a label with the barcode information, wireless access point, SSID and password, and also the MAC address and so on. So that's on a little sticker, which they always provide as well. And they always provide that information on the back of the access points as well here on the label. We also get a mounting plate here, which you can hopefully see. Now this goes on the back of the access point. So the mounting plate goes on the back of the access point like so, and it fits on with the grill, so the inner part of the grill is facing inwards to the back of the access point, so it goes on to the back of the access point like so, so that it's really neat. And then you would screw that or fix that to the wall where you're mounting the access point to, for example, and then the access point would be fitted onto the mounting plate. So it's a really neat design, great design I think, and I like these new Star ones where they've got a bit of texture to the front and also a sort of shape to them, a nice smooth edge and clean lines to them as well, rather than the sort of sharp lines that they previously had. So there's the mounting plate there. You also get the screws and the wall plugs with the mounting plate, so you get 2 screws, 2 plugs, and also 2 additional smaller screws, which are used for mounting the access point itself to the actual back of the mounting plate there. So the access point here is like so. So as I've said, it's really nice design. It's Wi-Fi 7. It has an LED strip on the front there, which changes depending on the status. Now under normal circumstances, it will change to green. So once it's green, it means that it's ready and up and running. It starts off when you first boot it up, it goes to purple, and then it changes to green when it's settled down. On the front at the bottom, we have the Grandstream logo, which is embossed. So it's actually embossed into the actual cover. Now they've designed these front covers as well so that you can actually paint them, so that they can be painted if required. So for example, if you've got black walls or cream walls, for example, cream colour or any colour, you can just paint the access point to match your wall colour so it blends in. Looking at the back of the access point, we have the usual label, which I've just mentioned, and we also have 4 screw holes at the bottom and at the top, and also a warranty if void sticker there. So if you do take this back off and you break that seal, then the warranty, it invalidates the warranty on it. So looking at the side of it, it's actually quite slim, so it's a slim mount. It's solidly built, it feels really well constructed, and the back here is actually metal, so you can actually tell that it's metal because it's a lot cooler than the front. The front is actually plastic. I think it's probably ABS, and as I've said, you can actually paint the front. On the back, so just underneath here, there is actually a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, so it's rated at 2.5 gigabits, and it requires PoE Plus, so that's PoE 802.3 AT. So that's the Wi-Fi 7. GWN7670WM, which is their in-wall, as they call it, access point. Now, I'd like to refer to them as on-wall because they're not actually going sort of in the wall, they're going on the wall, but that's just a personal preference. The same with any access point. They don't actually go inside the wall, they go on the wall. So for the basic specs for this, it will actually go up to 3.6 gigabits per second on the aggregated wireless throughput. So that's an aggregated wireless throughput. The range for this is up to 175 meters coverage, and it can support up to 256 concurrent Wi-Fi client devices. It also supports and has advanced QoS to ensure real-time performance of low latency applications. Now, the embedded controller in this, so it can actually manage itself, and it can also manage up to 50 other Grandstream wireless access points. So this could be, say, the controller for additional access points, so that you're managing it all in this one device through the same web interface, and that's up to 50 other Grandstream access points. Now, you can, of course, manage it via their cloud system, which is GDMS, or you can actually manage it via one of the Grandstream routers or routers, and you can actually manage it as well via a GCC device. Now, this is a dual band Wi-Fi 7, so it's not tri-band, it's actually dual band Wi-Fi 7. Now, the antennas in this, so it has two 2.4 gigahertz antennas with a gain of 3.0 dBi. For the 5 gigahertz, it also has two antennas, and the gain for that is 4 dBi. Now, for the channels and the speeds, for the 5G, it can go up to 2,882 megabits per second. So that's on the 5G band. And for the 2.4G band, it can go up to a speed of 688 megabits per second. Of course, that's in ideal lab environments where you're probably really close to the access point, for example. So now we've gone through basic specs for this, we will get it set up and configured in the web interface, and then we'll also do some speed testing as well. And on this PC, I do have a USB Wi-Fi 7 dongle, which is external, of course, with it being USB. And what I'll be doing is using that to do some speed testing on this Wi-Fi 7 access point. So just to confirm, the USB Wi-Fi 7 dongle that I have here on this PC is a TP-Link Archer BE6500 TBE400UH. Now, it is rated at, so it can go up to, actually I'll just show you it out of the docking station there. Here is the TP-Link BE6500 TBE400UH Wi-Fi 7 USB adapter. So here is this, and it's got the antennas that fold in and out. Now, this can go up to a maximum speed of 6.5 gigabits per second. However, of course, we're not expecting this access point to go to 6.5 gigabits as this antenna can do. As this is only a dual band Wi-Fi 7 access point, we're probably unlikely to get the speeds of the tri-band one, which of course is logical and makes sense. But anyway, we'll get this set up next and we'll connect it using this Wi-Fi 7 USB adapter. So we'll get right to it now. And here we are at the login page for the GWN7670WM. What I've done is placed the access point a location behind my television, sort of temporarily on the wall. So I'm trying to get it in an ideal placement for where you would normally put it. And also I'm in a separate room where the access point is, and it's going through solid brick walls. So the signal is going through those walls into the lounge. So the access point is placed in the lounge behind the back of the television, and I'm in my office with the Wi-Fi USB dongle sat on my desk in the actual docking station, which comes with the TP-Link Wireless 7 USB dongle. And also, before we continue and set up the access point, what I've already done is some testing. So I've done various tests with different settings. So for example, I've set different bandwidth on the 2.4 and 5G Wi-Fi channels, and I've also done various tests with them set to, for example, with MLO enabled or disabled, and also the channels. The channels were all left as automatic, so I let the Grandstream Access Point set the channels as automatic. So what we'll do is get this access point set up and configured in the web interface, and then we'll do some speed tests. So let's get to it. So in the username, we'll type in admin, which is always the username that Grandstream use for their devices. And then in the password box, we'll type in the password, actually paste it in from what we get with the device, which is on the label and also on the back of the device, as I've said with the unboxing. So then you get an option to set it as primary or subordinate. So what we're going to be doing is setting it as primary, as this access point will be managing itself. So then what we do is click sign in. So now we're in the setup wizard, and also just apologise for the background noise. Hopefully you won't be able to hear this when I do the editing, but there are some actually local council workers outside cutting grass and trimming, so apologies for that background noise if you can hear it. So anyway, when you get in, you're taken into the setup wizard. So all you do is click next, and then it's asking us to set the country or region. So we'll scroll down and set this to United Kingdom, and then for the time zone, we'll set the time zone to the correct one, which is for UTC, Dublin, Edinburgh, Lisbon and London. So then we'll click on next, and then it's asking us about the APs. So the device name is here, the MAC address, IP address, firmware version. Now I've already updated it to the latest firmware version, so that should be all up to date. And also the status, what we said, is primary, so it's managing itself. So then we'll click on next, and then we set up the SSID. Now by default, it gives you the default SSID of GWN74D046. Now this will be different SSID depending on which access point you've received, and also your access point, if you're purchasing the same one, would actually be a different SSID. It's based on characters from the, I believe, serial number and MAC address. So then in the security mode, we'll set this to WPA2 and WPA3. And then in the WPA key mode, we'll leave that as default, which is SAEPSK. For the WPA encryption, we'll leave that as AES, and the WPA pre-shared key, we'll change that to my lab WPA pre-shared key. And then you'll see we've got available devices and member devices. Now the member device is this access point, so we'll just click on complete. Then you'll see that we've completed the initial setup, and now what it's doing is saving the services status, so it's updating itself with the configuration. And we'll just wait a few seconds for this to finish updating. And there we go, it's finished configuring itself and it's refreshed the web page. Now you'll see for the AP channel distribution, it's set itself onto channel 6 for the 2.4 GHz, and on 5 GHz it set itself on channel 36. So what we'll do is just go through the quick menu options. So for access points, we've got the status. So it gives you the status of this access point, again, the channels, and also the channel bandwidth as well. So for 2.4, we've got it set as 20 megahertz. That's the default, and also 80 megahertz as well. And for the wireless power, of course, these are set to automatic as well. So then if we select configuration, it tells you the configuration again, as well as the status. So it's similar to the status screen, in that you could add more SSIDs or actually configure the device and so on. Then if we go to SSIDs, we've got the single SSID already activated. So that's the default one. And you'll see that it's saying it's set in bridge mode. So the client IP assignment is bridge mode. So that will pick up an IP address from my normal network. So the DNS server and DHCP server. Then for clients, it will show you the list of clients that are connected to your access point. Then we've got access control, so you can have time policies, access lists, bandwidth rules, and so on. Then we've got captive portal, so you can set up a guest portal. And then we've got radio, which is where you set up the channels for the radios and the channel width and so on. So then we go down to security, and we've got rogue AP detection, firewall, so it's got its own built-in firewall as well. Then in the service menu, we've got hotspot 2, DHCP server and so on. And then in system, where we go to the settings for the system, so you could turn the LED off, for example, set up your time zone, NTP servers. So while we're in, what we'll do is just get rid of the 2 bottom NTP servers, and we'll change the other 2 to the ones that I like to use, which is 0.uk.pool.ntp.org, and then the other one is 1.uk.pool.ntp.org. For the date display format, I like to have this as day, month and year, so we'll change this. And for the reboot schedule, we'll leave this as none, so we don't want any reboot schedule. So then what we'll do is click on save and wait for it to apply the changes. And that has applied the changes successfully. So we've also got meshing options in here, so you can actually mesh these access point with other Grandstream ones. Then we've got maintenance, where you're going to reboot and update firmware and so on. And then we've got the alert screen, so you can set up email alerts and configure that and so on. So what we'll do is go back to the overview tab. So now that we're in the control panel and we've set the basic settings up, and of course if we go into SSIDs and select the pen and the square icon, you'll see that we've got the SSID band, so it's set to 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. You'll see that MLO is disabled by default, and you'll see then if we go into the radio option, you'll see that we've got the channel width set to 20 megahertz and the channel width for 5G set to 80 megahertz. So for 20, it was set on the 2.4 gigahertz band as 20 megahertz. And the custom channels, so they are set to automatic, so it will automatically select the channels, and the radio power for both of these is set to high. So let's just connect the PC to the Wi-Fi network and see what speeds we get with those set as default. So these are out of the box settings, and if we go into the information, you'll see that we're currently connected at 1441 megabits per second. So that equates to about 1.4 gigabits per second for the receive speed, and for the transmit speed it's set to and linked at 576 megabits per second. Now, as I've said, I've tried to do it with an ideal placement, so the access point is actually temporarily fixed to the wall behind my TV in the lounge. Now I'm in my office, and that is in the next room to the lounge, so it's on the same floor. However, the signal is going through solid thick brick walls. So you can see we're getting quite a good connection speed here with the aggregated speed. Now, just to bear in mind that this is a dual band access point and not a tri-band Wi-Fi 7 access point. So it's only a dual band Wi-Fi 7. And that the aggregated throughput for this is rated at 3.6 gigabits per second. So I think with this speed, what we're getting here is quite decent, considering it's a dual band Wi-Fi 7 access point. However, I also did some various tests before this, and the maximum I could get with the various settings. So what I did was change the various settings for the bandwidth in the 2.4 and 5G band, also with MLO enabled or disabled, and the maximum I got was 1441, so the same as this, and also for the transmit speed I got 576. So I did various tests, and I will put up a table at the end of this video with the speed tests and the various settings that I applied, so that you can see, and hopefully there might be some use to you if you're thinking of setting up Wi-Fi 7 access points. So hopefully you might find those settings useful, or maybe not. Also, why not drop a comment in this video and let me know what you think, what speed you actually need from a Wi-Fi 7 access point, and why you need those speeds as well. Maybe you're a content producer and you want the great upload speeds and download speeds so that you can upload your videos faster, or maybe for some other reason. So why not drop a comment and let me know why you need a Wi-Fi 7 access point, and also why you need those speeds. What I'll do next, as I said, is I'll put a table up with a comparison of what the settings were and the various tests and the link speeds that I connected at with those various settings. So we'll end this video, and thanks for watching, and don't forget to keep watching just now, and I'll put that table up, and I'll be back again soon with more videos. So take care, and thanks for watching, and bye for now.